Oh, got it. I'm coming. Get my tabs. Hi, everyone. Hello. Happy Friday's Eve. Hey, welcome to the Quest Show. I am your host, Lana Quest, and this is my lovely co-host.
Honored to be here. Great week. How are you?
I am good. It's almost Friday, so it's like, you can't help it. Friday is the best day. It's just the best day.
It really is the best day, and I don't have to go into the office, so that makes me happy.
It is. That is good. I'm just happy we can wear jeans. Like that kind of makes me smile.
I love
like
that.
Walking up in jeans and sneakers, like and the sun is shining. Yay!
Oh yeah, some warm weather is supposed to be coming, right?
Yes, 70 girls, 70. I'm looking forward to that. Do you have any honorable mentions? Any goals or anything going on?
But you know what? We have some order of business we have to take care of first. So,
girl, you know what?
Do that.
You know what? She always got my back. Everybody. Well, first, let's say thank you to the new subscribers because we did get a couple. So thank you. And for the people who have not subscribed yet, here is your chance. Please subscribe. Please like and share this video as it says in my notes that I did not even look at. So thank you, Honor.
So yes, I do have an honorable mention. First of all, hey Q High, want to give a shout out. Hey. Because they are a loyal and wonderful crew.
Yeah. Yes.
Always have good conversation going on, good questions. But my honorable mention is coming out of Atlanta, Georgia.
What's happening?
Our prosecutor, Miss Fanny, is convening a grand jury. If you all remember, that was where Trump, you know what? He has said that number so many times. It was just 11,000 something.
11,780. He has said that number a long time, a lot of times, like, yeah.
And one ear and out the other because, it was all. So anyway, because of that, she is now convening a grand jury. They expect to start calling witnesses on June 2nd. I believe they are going to be issuing subpoenas because, no one is going to be going willingly, but that's just fine. You can keep defying. You can keep defying. That's just not going to work everywhere.
It sure isn't.
Are... they're not naming the prosecutors because of the threats of violence against them.
Hillary was right. Deplorable.
That was a nice word for them, right?
Yep. She was absolutely right. And you're right. It was too nice a word. She knew it. Imagine that. Can't even name the prosecutor. They're running around in bulletproof vests.
Right. Which is fine. But it does not bode well. And I'm not, I'm not putting this out in the air, but they're not going to order bulletproof vests for the elections clerks and people that are just, helping out. Like, what are those people doing? Because remember, they not even tried the grandmother. They were in the room trying to tell her that she needed to do something. So, let's hope that this grand jury at least gets things straight in Georgia for the elections that are coming up. Uncovers anything nefarious that was, confirms all of the nefarious that was going on, because we pretty much know it was happening. So we will absolutely stay attuned to the story and give you all updates as they become available.
Yeah, I can't wait. Get them, Fanny. Get them.
Right?
Absolutely. All right. So in keeping in line with courts and laws and legal stuff, let's go through federal judge Catherine Kimball Mizell. I guess that's how you spell her name.
AKA not qualified to serve as a judge, as labeled by the, was it a National Association of Lawyers?
The American Bar Association. Like,
oh, right.
That's who gives you your license. That's who gives you your bar number. They said she is not qualified.
You went from intern 6 years ago to federal judge. So yeah,
a lifetime judgeship.
We have
like right, like we're laughing about this, but that's not funny. Like that's absolutely insanity that this woman is going to be there for a lifetime and did nothing to earn it.
Right, absolutely nothing. Doesn't have the qualifications.
None, just none. Oh my God. Hasn't even had any trial experience. Like she's probably never even written like a motion or a brief or
exactly.
She was an associate, like not putting these things down. We're just saying not qualified to be a federal judge. So as this federal judge, Judge Mizell decided to throw like a curveball to the CDC, who was they were going to extend the mask mandate
just to May 3rd. Because the variant BA2, I wrote it down last week because it was like Bachelor of Arts too.
Exactly.
Like that.
Yeah.
The cases are climbing, and even though it's not resulting in hospitalizations, they just wanted to see what was going to happen over the next week or so, because it was only until May 3rd. Right. And she went on ahead and overturned the whole thing. Girl, people were ripping off their masks mid-flight.
Right.
No regard for younger children that may have been on the flight that have not yet had a chance to have the vaccine. And her reasonings were not sound.
They were not sound. But what makes this even worse, Honor, is that so the lawsuit was brought against the CDC by some organization called the Health Freedom Defense Fund out of Wyoming. So that's why this is so crazy. So she didn't just rule on for Wyoming. She just ruled like every state. I'm gonna make this a just thing for you. Right. She overturned it for every state, went over every state's mandates. Like that's what's so nefarious about this. Like, and she didn't even read the briefs. Like they were saying, she did not even read anything. She already knew what she was going to do. But I'm sorry, I broke.
Oh no, I particularly think it's interesting. She used the word sanitize. Isn't that something that Trump said when he was talking about the bleach and the light bulb and the fluorescent lights? Like,
right. Sanitize.
Not one, and this is not the first challenge that has been brought to the mask mandate. Not one ruling for or against, I believe, has mentioned. And it seems to. She said it actually traps the droplets, which could make it worse. They're your own droplets.
Like, what do you mean, girl? What do we think we're infecting ourselves? What is she talking about, girl? What? Please go away. Federal Judge Catherine Kimball.
May you never rule on anything ever again.
I hope that good people, if you see her as your judge, please ask to be moved. Ask to move.
I don't want her.
File a motion to have your case moved to.
She don't know nothing. I don't want her.
Not let her rule because of what is going on.
They said you are entitled to a jury of your peers. I demand the judge be too. Thank you.
Peers is somewhere on the moon because they're not. What is? I mean, I guess it could be worse. She could be on the Supreme Court, but does it really matter? Like, it's the same. I don't know. I don't know.
It could be worse. Speaking of worse, it's about to get worse for the students in Florida.
Oh, what's going on in Florida?
Well, actually, I came across this tweet last night from Judy Stern-Levin at Dobbs Girl One. And she said that she found it really kind of curious that the math books were being banned. And so she said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but she went down a rabbit hole. And down the rabbit hole she went. And so it turns out that only one publisher in the entire country, one, no McGraw-Hill, no, I mean, out of the thousands, all of the books that we came up with, we managed to learn, graduate, none of those.
Nope.
One publisher, Houston-based, will be the supplier of all of the books for Florida. And certainly they will comply with, all of the crap ass laws. Yeah, I said that have come out. But let me see. So the company that's going to be publishing is called Accelerated Learning. And she said she heard that name. She was like, who the heck are they? So she decided to look into the company. Accelerated Learning is owned by the Carlyle Group. They bought them in 2018. The Carlyle Group is a global investment group. I want to say based out of DC, but I might be wrong about that. Anywho, guess who was the previous CEO of the Carlyle Group prior to him assuming his new governorship?
Who?
Carl Youngkin. No, not Carl. Glenn Youngkin.
Glenn Youngkin.
New governor of Virginia, who's also down in Virginia putting in all types of crap ass laws regarding books and CRT and all of that other kind of crap.
I don't think they heard you. Like, get that connection again, like that.
Okay,
that last part.
Governor DeSantis is using a Houston-based one publisher out of the entire country, publisher, Accelerated Learning, to supply all of the books for all of Florida. Accelerated Learning is owned by the Carlyle Group, where, and I didn't even write this down, Glenn Youngkin, I want to say was CEO of the Carlyle Group. It was at least 10 years.
25
I thought it was 25. I didn't want to quote. I thought it was 25 years.
Co-CEO and ran that company for 20.
And then he ran for governor.
Yes.
So following the money.
Yep. Follow the money all the way down to.
Yeah, I would think that he still has an interest in the Carlyle Group. And I think Accelerated Learning and the Carlyle Group are set to make a shit ton of money that I'm sure, because everybody's palms must be greased. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Absolutely. If he's a co-CEO, he has stock. He's still got ownership in that company. He didn't just step down and broke the ties. These people
because we don't do that anymore. Trump didn't do that. So
right. Why would you lose money? Like, that wouldn't make any sense. So you're going to still have that. And then again, and this is how crazy this is. This is not going to be the first state.
Right. Because he's governor of Virginia.
Right.
So let's see what happens with Virginia.
Exactly.
Let's see what happens. And what's funny, Virginia can be Republican, but it's also been Democratic. Right. It has leaned Democratic in recent years. I want to see what these Democrats are going to do. Are you going to rise up? I mean, because Northern Virginia is home to a lot of people that work in DC, work in politics, work in, at NASA and all of those different places. And they tend to vote Democrat. Like, what in the world are y'all going to do?
Right.
Everybody seems to be asleep at the wheel.
And we talked about this last night. It's like, please start talking. Please start yelling. Like, where are the parents who are outraged about this? Why are we hearing the other voices so loud? Like, I know you're out there, but your voices are being smothered for some reason. Like, you got to get out there, start suing. You start going to DeSantis's office saying, I want my kid to have more than one mask. Because if you're not talking about it, this is why he thinks he can do this, because there's not, it's zero.
No blowback. No blowback whatsoever.
Zero blowback in Florida. Zero blowback because y'all aren't at his offices. Zero blowback because it's a touristy destination. If you are a decent human being, anti-racist, anti-bigot, is no goddamn way you should be going to vacation to Florida right now. Like, that just shouldn't be a spot at this point, because why are we giving that state? He's got to have the blowback. I hope to God Disney World jinx and goes on to Colorado. Like, I hope they leave Florida.
That would be stunning. But they just revoked their what was it? Special,
whatever the privilege, some kind of
like Disney World got to be their own little government, and he's just down there flipping the hell out.
Yes. It would just reckless abandon, yelling at kids. I mean, I know we're going off, but it's like, he wakes up and thinks of some other thing he can do to, like,
chaos.
And while we're talking about DeSantis, while we're honing in on him,
let's very quickly, because we do need to move on. Go ahead.
Right. Well, it's just the second part, because this goes in line with, it's all about the money, because DeSantis did the same thing with Regeneron.
There you go.
He did He
did
the same thing with Regeneron. He didn't want nobody to go get vaccines. He didn't want anyone to wear a mask. But if you did get COVID, he wanted you to get in line and get Regeneron. Why did he want people to get in line and get Regeneron?
Girl, I almost forgot that I went down that rabbit hole last night. So it turns out that Citadel is the second largest donor to DeSantis's campaign. CEO Ken Griffin donated $5.75 million to his campaign in 2018, and he just dropped another $5 million in April of last year. Citadel owns a decent sized stake in the company that makes Regeneron. It is just disgust and corruption all the way around.
Which DeSantis was pushing. So Florida,
no vaccine. I want you to consider dying so that you can see how it feels to get better. Hopefully you get better. So don't get the vaccine.
Money. Right. Don't get the vaccine. Don't get the vaccine. Stand in line sick. Because remember, all those sick people were in line trying to get Regeneron. DeSantis is trash. Like, just pure trash, man. Speaking of trash.
No. We
got more trash?
Girl.
Oh,
some parent. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you go.
No, we have oh no, what do we have next?
We have the trash, which is the colleague, State Senator Thice, who called Mallory McMorrow a groomer.
Surely did. Oh yeah, that is my number 3.
Yeah, and that is, speaking of trash, like that. State Senator Thice, or Thice, or whatever her name is, her colleague. Like, it's your colleague at the State House.
Let's back it up.
Yeah, okay.
Grooming is a very specific word, specifically to describe what pedophiles do to children and sometimes their parents, in an attempt to be able to sexually abuse children. That is a very specific term. That is not one that you throw around. You know, even you hear the word racist a lot, because there's a lot of racists out there, but it's not something that I throw around lightly. I'm not just out there, you know, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that.
Right.
Grooming is a very disgusting and vile thing. And to accuse someone of doing that to raise money.
Right.
Girl, she did it in a fundraising letter overnight.
Right. Can you imagine? So this is what Mallory wakes up to the next morning, is a woman calling her by name, a groomer, knowing how Trump has already opened the dam to these crazy people. We know they're out there. We know they tried to kidnap a governor. We know they're
Governor Gretchen Whitmore.
Right, exactly.
Of Michigan.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You know they're out here. So to call her a groom, they're going to pizza shops, right? Like, come on.
They're crazy.
And she knows that. Like, it almost should be against the law to do these things. It's like, and they did ask her. She interviewed. Did you see that last night? She was on something last night. Maybe Rachel. I don't know. And they asked her if she was gonna sue. And she was like, no, because can trans kids sue? They cannot. Right. Can all these marginalized people sue? They cannot.
But why can't they?
She's just saying, like, people can't afford to do that. They're not, you know what I mean? No one has that kind of time and energy and access to be doing that. So she's saying, you know, I'm going to use my privilege to keep speaking out about this. But yeah, to go back to grooming, they started that with Ketanji Jackson.
They did. They did.
Yeah. Did they actually say the word, or were they just they were testing the waters?
I don't believe they actually said the word. They focused on that whole child pornography and sentencing of sexual offenders, as if to say it was the insinuation, the association. You were soft on them. You were soft on pedophiles. Exactly. So in that regard, you must kind of be okay with what they do. It was the insinuation there. It really was. And now they're just full out, you know, now everyone's a groomer. Stop it. There has got to be a limit. There has got to be a limit. And you know what? This is another place we're talking about it. The media needs to be talking about it too. Stop it with letting this crazy messaging go forth, because it creates froth in people, and people get seriously hurt. That Mallory, what's her last name?
McMorrow.
She has a 1-year-old daughter.
Right.
She has a 1-year-old daughter and a husband.
So now you got some crazy people looking up her address now to see where she lives. So I'm pretty sure,
or her daycare provider, calling her in.
I am pretty sure that this woman is getting death threats as we speak right now. That is what they're dealing with right now, because a colleague, like someone you work with, this is like so bizarre to me. The nerve of you. Meanwhile, they got Matt Gaetz. Oh, go on.
We're the high percentage of GQP. GQP with open cases. What's going on with Matt?
Right, exactly.
And
Matt
Joe
Gaetz.
Goldberg.
Exactly.
In Florida.
Exactly.
And all of the men that he serviced.
And here's the thing, though. Democrats got to be better at calling that out. It's like,
you have little pedophiles among your ranks, but you're calling us groomers.
Exactly. We need more of that fire. Like everyone is saying, Mallory, what she did, how she stood up and dragged that woman from Sunday to Friday.
I'm your worst nightmare. She called her hateful and vile. And she was, because that was a hateful, vile thing. She's like, I hope you raised some money. I hope you went to bed sleeping well.
Listen.
It's like, I know who I am. Your worst nightmare.
And she's right. And they're lucky I'm not in the Capitol building, because I'm not calling them people my friends at this point. I'm calling you out every time I see you. You're gonna look. Mitch would run the other way when he saw me coming. He'd be like for real, like that's how you have to get them, call them out. You're being nice and shaking their hands and laughing with them after they go out and say vile shit. Like that's why they keep doing it, because you guys just go on TV and saying and calling them out like that. No, you can't do that.
Let me tell you something. Stop talking about inflation. Eggs could be $10 a dozen.
It's $10
Get with this messaging. Get with this messaging, because it is not safe. It is dangerous. It's just one more layer to that whole 1-6 big lie bullshit. Like, stop letting the lies pile on top of lies.
Exactly. And I'm glad you said that. That's right. Get on TV and say, hey, DeSantis is trying to make your kids dumb. Play that ad of Trump saying, I love uneducated people. And then look at what DeSantis is doing. One math book. Pretty soon the high school and the K through K5 are going to share one math book. This don't make any sense right now.
Ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Girl, it's past ridiculous.
I was watching, not sure who it was. It wasn't Mehdi Hassan. It may have been. And they actually did a story on her video. And they said on Twitter, it has now been viewed at that point last night over 10 million times, because people are just resonating. People are fed up.
Right.
People are fed up. Like,
right.
Y'all are the worst. The absolute worst.
Right.
You have no regard. You're supposed to be a woman. What is the definition of a woman? Right. That would do something like that to another woman.
Another woman, a mother at that, of a baby.
A new mom.
You know she's a new mom. You know she's a new mom because she's your calling. You saw her pregnant. Mm-hmm. You saw this woman pregnant, probably had a whole baby shower. You calling her a groomer. Man.
Right.
Wow.
So, moving on.
Wow. Hey, yeah, tomorrow. What is tomorrow?
It's Earth Day.
We're going to celebrate the earth.
We should, because it's still here. We walk upon it.
I know. It is still here after we're like treating it so badly. I can't even believe. So for Earth Day, Honor and I decided to talk about mangroves, because it's something that who knew? Who knew what that is?
Right.
And I happen to love the name mangrove. I like the name wetland too, but
we won't.
So a mangrove is a shrub or tree that grows in coastal saline water. So the water needs to be a bit salty. It's like we said swamp, but it's kind of, I guess, a clean swamp.
Yeah.
It's really clean. It protects species. Like, it has so many different helpful things.
Benefits to the earth, right?
Yeah, it helps shellfish. I think you mentioned oysters. Like, seafood is like a $7.6 billion industry, and the mangroves are out here protecting the things that you love to eat.
Well, you were telling me, you said the biggest bunch that we have around here is in Mexico, right?
Yeah.
And how much carbon? Like, I didn't know this. I knew this about rainforests. I didn't know this about mangroves, that they collect large amounts of carbon from the earth, and you said hold it for long amounts of time.
Yeah, they collect about 5 times more carbon than any other ecosystem, and we didn't even know ecosystems were out here catching carbon. So like rainforests are catching carbon. We don't even know why people are trying to not kill the rainforest. Like, we need rainforests because rainforests catch carbon. So these mangroves, 5 times that equals to like 1 million vehicles, right? And they hold all this carbon in for, I don't know, it goes in cycles. So it's not really years. It's some type of cycle type of situation. But this is like the cure to climate change.
Right. If we just protect the ecosystems that we have in place.
The mangroves.
You were saying about seafood. They provide oyster habitats because the way their roots grow down. They also regulate the waves in the water, and so that they protect nearby areas from tsunamis. They do so much.
They protect whales. Whales find cover in there. the seafood that we eat, I guess it also traps like the little crustaceans that they in turn eat. So like that's how they get their food. Like you're right. And there's so much that we need to learn about the world. And again, here is DeSantis taking books away when we need to be putting books in, because these are the things that we were never taught. We were out here with the cans that were in the plastic things, pulling those off, throwing those in the water. You know what I mean? Like you're never thinking about that. And even now, these mangroves are in danger because people are out there cutting them down. They're driving ATVs through them, like taking the timber. Like, you know, again, we have a cure for climate change in these mangroves if we can just keep them. They're in Florida too, but don't tell Ron DeSantis because they'll get rid of them.
Like, maybe seriously.
They have black mangroves. That's CRT. No, but they really do have black. They have black mangroves, white mangroves. Girl. No, they do. They're called different.
No, I believe you, but I'm just saying. I wouldn't put it past them. I absolutely would not. Would not.
Yeah, and with that being said, 45% of the mangroves are gone. So,
wow. Okay. So, all right. So we are bringing some awareness for Earth Day. Yeah. We have to figure out ways to preserve our Earth, because our Earth preserves itself if we would just let it do what it does.
We would just let it, right? We're always just going in and cutting stuff down, like leave stuff alone.
Right.
Oh, next story. It's a great story. This has got to be one of my favorites.
And I thought this is what we were going to go to after.
That's because you're so anxious to talk about this.
I know, right? Well, because you know what? Because this is a set of parents that are fighting back.
Right. It's true. It's true. You want to talk about Fred Robinson, Mr. and Mrs. Robinson, Fred and Kelly Robinson?
Craig.
Fred and Kelly?
It's Craig.
Oh, I thought it was Fred. Oh my goodness. He's like, no, girl.
Is DA on here? Because Craig. This dude was a basketball player and he would be.
I know. He'd be like,
real embarrassed.
Who is Fred? Who is Fred Robinson?
Yeah. So anyway, who is Craig Robinson?
Who is
Craig Robinson? Happens to be Michelle Obama's brother. He and his wife Kelly are suing a school, the university school in Milwaukee, for insanity. That's the only way that I can put it. They had complaints about some of the diversity initiatives, some of the lessons that were being taught, and instead of the school or the administrators listening to the complaints or doing anything about it, they ended up expelling both of their kids, even though their grades academically they were just fine. It was in retaliation for them speaking out.
Right.
So University School of Milwaukee, let's let you have a little hearsay about what they had a little problem with. So was this even for Black History Month, or was this just ignorance just all around in general?
You know, I didn't read it was even for Black History
Month. I didn't read it was even for Black History Month.
It's just an activity that they do for fourth graders.
Right. Fourth graders. So yeah, it was fourth graders. So one of the activities that they had a problem with was they had the children, the Black children and the children of color. They did a reenactment of the Underground Railroad, and the Black children and the children of color got to be the slaves, and the white faculty, not kids, faculty got to be the slave masters and the slave catchers and the overseers that would bring them back. Now, because you know,
it gets worse.
Teaching is interactive. It's interactive.
Right.
Interactive. These kids have to be engaged. So they would dim the lights like it was dark. And then they piped in music, you know, slave music, whips and stuff like that.
Chains. Don't forget the horses.
The chains and the horses, right. To simulate that, you know, the Black students, the kids, the fourth graders were getting ready to be recaptured as slaves. What were the white kids doing? They should have been standing there with their mouths open.
And they probably were. Like, they probably were like, what is this? Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. You know what? I'm uncomfortable. This brings me discomfort as a woman of color. I am not comfortable right now. Can we be uncomfortable? Because everybody's concerned with the white parents.
Let me tell you something. They would have straight
what is this?
Kicked my kid out that very day. My kid came home and told me that they did what? The teachers, the white teachers were overseers and slave catchers and slave masters. You piped in horses and whips and are you out of your minds?
Fourth graders. Traumatized. Like, what is this? This is
Let's
worse.
See what it feels like to be a slave in 2022, because that's where that's diversity and inclusion.
And they continue with this activity. That's why I don't think it was Black History Month. It has to be some type of in their lesson book. Like when they get to that part of the lesson book, oh boy, let's do the interactive part. They just couldn't wait to be some slave masters.
I don't even know where you would have found that from. Did you like
what?
Blank out
they're like, oh, the Harriet Tubman chapter. Come on, kids, we doing the Underground Railroad.
And it's not funny. I'm so glad they are suing them. But this is the type of stuff, right? And this, I actually saw this online on NBC News. But this is the type of stuff that we really need to be hearing about, because that's come on, Black people.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. This is
I don't advocate violence, but this is violence.
This is worse than that preschool that painted the kids' faces black. I don't know which one is worse. Remember here in Massachusetts, they painted the kids' faces black.
Right. Well, you know what? See, the preschoolers. Yeah, no. Well, no, it was the paper plate.
Oh,
but it was the actual color black, and that was particularly offensive to me. Like, you weren't trying to make them brown, right? You was straight up in the black face. I don't know.
It's
my baby
funny,
coming home. I don't know. Either one. I might have needed to be bonded out. I'm like, I don't play with my kids like that.
No.
And certain things would have just sent me over the edge.
That would have sent me over the edge. Guy would have called Channel 574 every local news station there was. That's what.
Let me tell you something. Like if my daughter or my son had came home and been like, Mrs. Zukowski was the slave overcatcher today. What?
Overcatcher.
What?
The overcatcher. I love that.
And Mr. Lupinski was the who?
Yeah.
What happened to the kids once they were caught? That's what I want to know.
Oh my goodness. They weren't free. They were put in chains, girl. What you think? No, I don't. Girl, I don't know.
How does it
just what was the lesson here? It's just baffling. But that is okay. Once again, these things are okay. But learning how to teach these things properly is the problem. That's the problem.
Right.
You know,
learning that slavery is not an interactive activity ever.
Like, what is that? I bet they were throwing around the N word too, because how are you going to do a slavery enactment if you weren't saying that word?
I would have burned the school down. There's just no way. Like, seriously.
Like, that's it. It's done. All right, everyone. Yeah, we're gonna go on to closing questions.
Yeah, we are.
Let's do it. Let's jump right on into it, as we are time crunch. let's see. Name at least. Oh, is everybody ready? Everyone, anyone who is looking and not in the chat, here's your time to jump in the chat so we can play the game. First one is a question. Name at least 2 cities or states keeping their mask mandates on public transit. So there's a couple of cities that's like, so no, we're not doing that.
Oh, I know one of them because they just reinstated it.
Right. Yep.
There's been a slight rise in cases over here. DC. Even Baltimore. I was watching the local news and we've ticked up to 4%, which I mean is not bad, but it was low. It was low.
But you know what, Honor? It's probably higher everywhere because we there's so many home tests. It's not being reported.
You know what? Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Massachusetts and New York City.
Is it Massachusetts? Is Mass one? I didn't know that they were doing that here in Mass. No, I know. There's nobody on. People on the train do not have masks on. So
really?
We gotta check that out. So yes, New York City is one. Philly is one. I did not hear about DC, but if
DC is not one right now because not everybody was masked on the train.
They're still doing that. So I know. So let's see, Philly, DC, Mass. I don't know about Mass. I know New York and Philly. Chicago said, not us. We are keeping ours. Seattle, New York jumped up and was like, nah, nope, keep your mask on.
Right.
So, and
no one has to tell me to keep my mask on.
This is not really hard. Like I get people upset because they have young children at home and don't want everyone to wear it. But you know what? If y'all don't want to wear it, that's on y'all.
Right.
That's cool. Let's do a quote. Oh no, let's do another question. Who posted on Instagram 3 Easter bunnies toting guns?
That doesn't seem like a hard question
for Easter.
People are so bizarre.
He's a MAGA dummy. He's a MAGA dummy son. He's also a MAGA dummy. He's a junior.
I thought you were only given 2 hints.
MAGA dummy junior. Oh, I said son, huh? 2 hints? Or should I do 3?
Well, I thought it was like male, female, and then
yeah.
Because I instantly caught. I didn't know, but I instantly knew when
I said MAGA dummy or MAGA dummy son.
MAGA dummy son. And then sealed it with junior. Michelle, that's who I thought at first too.
Oh, right. She would
Margarine.
Do that. She may have. She may have done it. Yes, Trump Jr. We're gonna move on. Wait, here we go. Another question. What Fox News host promoted testicle tanning to increase manhood?
What?
Man News.
To increase manhood?
What Fox News host promoted testicle tanning to increase manhood?
Does he know that that's not the way to grow that?
I know. I think that's what it is. He needs to
like you either come with the melanin or you don't. I don't know what he wants us to do about that. That's not going to help.
Yes, Tucker Carlson.
Tuckums. Yes. That is not the way. That's not the way.
Okay.
And just where are you supposed to be doing that?
Girl, on the beach, I guess. Open your legs, spread them, lift up. Yes. Tucker, Andrea. We're gonna move on. We normally would wait for everyone to put their answer in. The answer is Tucker, but we are short on time. We'll just do a couple more. Next is a quote. We are here for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to protect the innocent people of Ukraine. We are here for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to protect the innocent people of Ukraine. Navy, black man.
I'm sorry.
I knew you'd
He's
like
very
that.
brave.
We are here for one purpose and one purpose.
Andrea said, wait. She said
the
same place they're tanning the the same place they're tanning the bum hole, Andrea.
I like the bum hole. Oh, good job.
Wow. Somebody's on it tonight.
Wow. Let's see.
Because Kevin dropped out. Andrea's taking first place.
Oh, wow, Andrea. Michelle, are you behind? Trying to give her a minute. Yes, the black guy in the gear. Good job. Malcolm next, and Nance. And if you don't know why Honor is laughing so hysteric, oh, right, because Ghost Nose is a whole clown. That is why Honor is laughing hysterically.
He's a brave man. It is a very honorable thing. Yeah. Immediately, I was concerned for his age. He made the cutoff. He's 60. They said 18 to 60. So he is there.
Oh my God. Okay, last quote. Well, Peter's a reporter. I'm not a doctor, and you're not a doctor that I'm aware of. But if you're a doctor, I wasn't aware until today. Red woman. Well, the woman's not red, but she's associated with red.
There's only one person that can flip them out like that. That was hilarious. Well, Peter.
Well, Peter, I'm not a doctor.
Wait a minute. You even did the head tilt.
Yeah. And you're not a doctor that I'm aware of. If you're a doctor, I wasn't aware until today. I love her.
And if you are, why are you here harassing me?
Exactly.
Please go doctor. And take Rand Paul with you.
Go do a doctor.
Go doctor somewhere.
Go doctor. Go do a surgery. Well, Peter, I'm not a doctor, and you're not a doctor that I'm aware of. If you're a doctor, I wasn't aware until today. Red hair, woman, White House.
Come on, people.
Yay, Andrea. Andrea is getting it. So is Michelle. Michelle's just coming in a little late.
I wonder how she's going to be on MSNBC.
Oh, I know. Mm-hmm. Like a whole White House reunion on there.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? We're just waiting for Michelle to come in. Do, 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 do. Next two stories, we're going to zoom through her. All right. The answer is Jen Psaki or Saki. How do you pronounce her name?
Saki.
Saki.
Mm-hmm. Saki.
Jen Psaki.
Yes.
That was the answer. Who else up there with that red hair just flaming people at those
Speaking to Peter Ducey of Fox News.
He always She always has to like drag him. He just keeps coming back for more.
It's
always.
like maybe he has a secret crush on her.
Oh, you know what? It appears so. You're absolutely right.
I have a cat trying to get into my room if anyone can hear that.
No, that's hilarious though. Oh, that Tom.
It probably is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what are we talking about next for Fair Housing Month?
So for Fair Housing Month, we are going to talk a little bit about gentrification. And for those who are not aware, and I know we have a very intellectual crowd that watches us, gentrification is where Black neighborhoods slowly over time, whites and other nationalities move in. Not that that is a bad thing, but they move in and they overtake the Black people, Black and brown people that have always lived there, and erase the culture.
Right.
Erase the culture. Right. The housing often becomes unaffordable for those people, and they get pushed out of their own neighborhoods.
Right. Right.
So that's what gentrification is.
Yeah. In short.
Yeah,
in short. Yeah, we had a great conversation about it because it's personal and it's really sad as we were talking, because if you're like, Honor and I, we come from those neighborhoods that are so rich in culture, and it's not just like white people, because it's not just average white people, right? It's it's the wealthy of the wealthy, because in those neighborhoods sometimes they're diverse anyway. So we have there are white people that are in the neighborhoods with us, but they come in, and when they come in, they're bringing like the Starbucks now is coming in there. It's like all the boutiques and all the expensive
that
things
cater to them. They bring in shops that cater to them instead of them kind of branching out and embracing the neighborhood in which they have moved into.
Right.
And they push out small businesses and businesses that have been around. If they're going to throw a Target up in your neighborhood, there's a lot of land acquirement that needs to happen for that. And that requires the eminent domain. That's something that the city uses to take homes for public land use for the good of the city. That's one way gentrification happens. Another way, and this is huge but not being talked about, is tax sales. Tax sales, foreclosures. You have corporate and LLCs coming in and buying up these properties. They are not creating affordable housing out of them
at all.
And they are sometimes sitting on the property doing nothing, just waiting till the Starbucks moves in. And then again, it's not affordable housing. It is housing for other people, for higher income people, because a lot of the neighborhoods, they're underserved, they're lower income, and they come sometimes situated among waterfront that nobody wanted, when it was industrial, when it was port or whatever the case may be, but now waterfront is the hot new thing. Right. You can overlook the water. And we can charge you $1 million for your condo for that.
And all of this reminds me of exactly what we did to Africa. We go over there to the continent of Africa, and we take all the minerals and all of the diamonds and all of the natural and wonderful things that belong to them, and then keep it for ourselves. And that's exactly what gentrification reminds me of. You have wealthy people coming into this land, right? Rich in culture, great buildings, great structure and teeth, that we're out there, we were talking about selling incense. We have people in the streets that are selling incense. They're selling rugs and clothes on the street. It's like a big block party all the time in these neighborhoods. And then once they come in, it's like that stuff gets wiped out. They take the buildings, like Honor said. So the city, probably for you, because you guys have the row houses. So we have like 3-family homes and things like that. So they buy up those 3-family homes that people are renting, right? People used to rent them.
That's
and then they come and offer up all this money to like the Black owners. The Black owners sell it. Now they turn each floor into a condo that people cannot afford. Like the normal residents cannot afford this. And the problem here in Massachusetts, I don't know if that you have that problem where you are, but in Massachusetts, there are certain suburbs where you cannot build 3-family homes. So
here's the thing, and that's a thing too. So they don't let you build them in the suburbs because what happens is you unbalance between homeowners and renters. So then you have a disproportionate amount of renters in the Black community. They're not buying anything. They're not accumulating any wealth through home ownership.
Exactly.
And when they do, you know, if they are not able to pay property taxes and their house is sold in a tax sale, then it's gone. It is gone. And that is something that really needs to be looked at. These institutional investors, it's happening in Baltimore. Someone from Newark, New Jersey had a conversation about it. It is happening in exactly the same manner. And I also read an article about Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is no longer majority Black. Washington, D.C., since 1980, it went from being 70% Black to 41% Black. In 2015 is when it stopped being a majority Black city. Washington, D.C.'s nickname is Chocolate City.
That hurts my heart.
And they have had issues in some of those neighborhoods where people newly installed did not want to keep the flavor and the essence of the neighborhood.
Right.
You're trying to kick go-go music out of a neighborhood in DC. For what? For not.
Right.
It's their cultural thing, right? It is. It's their cultural thing.
It is DC. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
that's the whole thing. It made it in the movies and everything. Go-go's a thing. Go-go music is a thing.
It's DC. There is no DC without go-go music. And then that's like the same as, and I know we gotta move on, like in Brooklyn, when they started gentrifying Brooklyn and the Bronx, and then they wanted to change the name. Ghost could probably testify, like they wanted to change the name of the Bronx and call it, I forgot what the name was. And it's like, oh my God, stop it. What's happening? Oh, wow. It's very frustrating. And like you said,
and Andrea said it's a problem in Latino communities as well. And I know it is.
Right.
I know it is.
Absolutely. I wonder if Asian people have that problem in their communities. They're like in Chinatown. Because
they probably, it's a lack of access to money. I'm not going to speak on that. I don't know. I do know that sometimes they will have their own network that they're able to deal within, whereas we don't necessarily have that. Latinos don't necessarily have that. You probably have some lower income Asians that don't have that either. We have to get it through our minds. Not all Asians are crazy rich Asians. That's just
we know that exactly. It's not a thing. Exactly. Yeah.
So.
Oh man. All right. We have 1 minute. Let's go real quick.
Black excellence.
I'm gonna turn my Black excellence over to Honor because this was such a great idea. So I want you to kick it off.
So for tonight, we're going to honor 2 men, and we are going to figure out a way to share our screens because there was a photo that I came across that was absolutely fantastic. And it was a picture of Magic Johnson and his son, EJ, dressed. They looked like they were on a red carpet. He was dressed in a beautiful gown, full face, and his father was standing beside him, beaming like he could not have been prouder to be there and be his father. That is Black excellence. Right. That is a Black man. You accept your children. You accept your son. No matter how he chooses to dress. He could have had on some Timbs and a leather jacket. He had on, and his face was flawless. Right. And I also want to shout out Dwyane Wade, because his daughter, Zara, I believe it was last year, came out as transgender. And he and Gabrielle Union have been nothing but supportive. This is how we raise our children, women and men, to be strong Black people, to be strong adults, to be who they are, and to thrive and flourish as they are. As they are, and love them no matter what. And that's what I got out of that picture. Like, Magic loves his son.
He does. And I just want to say a quote from Magic real quick.
Go ahead.
A lot of people don't love that I love my son. And I don't want to get it lost, because this is how special we find Dwyane and Magic, because they come from sports. And as we know, sports is very macho, and especially Magic Johnson, right? Because Magic Johnson had that reputation of being with a lot of women. And Wilt Chamberlain, like, it's just what they did. And that's what, I don't want to say that's what he wanted for his son, but he had a different route for his son, and that's what he said. So it was really hard for him in the beginning that I read. Like, it was Cookie who had to explain to him, like, just
so he was moldable and teachable. I mean, look at those qualities. Right. Open. He was open.
Exactly. Took it hard, you know what I mean? But went back to it, because his son left the college and they were on bad terms. And then Magic, a few months later, only a couple months that he was gone, went to the dorm and was like, whatever. It said that, whatever, and just gave him a hug. Like, because he's like, no, I'd rather have my son in my life than hold on to what I want my son to be. Because you know what? As parents, and I know we got to go, it's not about what we want for our kids. It's what
we want our kids to be the best version of themselves that they could possibly be.
Exactly. They're not, we had our chance to be, we can't make our kids be what we want them to be. We had a chance. Can't do that. We support who they are.
Exactly. So I give both of those men hearty hand claps.
Salute to them. Yes.
They are examples. Yeah. They are true examples.
Father's Day is every day. We celebrate y'all.
And Mother's Day is coming up soon.
Yes, it is.
Goals I deliver. We'll have some gift ideas.
Oh, yeah. We sure will.
And all the other men out there, some gift ideas. That's right. Just some great Mother's Day stuff. Yeah. Upcoming.
So everyone, have a good weekend. Tomorrow is Friday. Enjoy, get yourself some wine, all that good stuff. Honor you.
There you go.
Night, everybody. I love your hair, by the way. It looks great.
Thank you. You're welcome. I love your outfit too.
Thank you. I love the chat. We love you guys. Thanks, you for showing
chat.
up.
Thanks, Hive.
Bye.